Exodus 23. You've just come down from the thunder of Sinai. The stones are engraved, the camp is ordered, and the people are trying to wrap their minds around what it means to be a holy nation. Exodus 23 is where God keeps leaning in and clarifying. Holiness is not only about what you don't do in private, it is also about what you do in public, especially when it comes to justice, truth, and the weak among you. This chapter begins with a direct call to judicial integrity. God says to the judges and the accusers, "Do not spread false reports. Do not join hands with a wicked person to be a malicious witness." You don't get to protect your tribe, your family, your friend, or even your enemy by twisting the truth. The courts of God must be blind to favoritism. The scales must be set by evidence, not by who's popular, who's rich, who's poor, or who's connected. He goes on, "Do not follow the crowd in doing wrong. Do not pervert justice by siding with the crowd, and do not show favoritism to a poor person in a lawsuit." Holiness does not mean lowering the standard for the oppressed. It means holding everyone to the same truth. The poor are not above the law because of their suffering, and the powerful are not beyond the law because of their position. Then God reaches into the most awkward spaces and says, "If you find your enemy's ox or donkey wandering off, be sure to return it. If you see your enemy's animal fallen under its load, help carry the burden." This is not just a random act of kindness. It is a radical command against hatred. God is saying, your relationship with me must be louder than your grudges. He turns the law toward the vulnerable again. Do not deny justice to the poor in their lawsuits. Have nothing to do with a false charge. Do not put an innocent or honest person to death, for I will not acquit the guilty. The courtroom is not a place where the disadvantaged fade into the background. It is where God pays the closest attention. When justice is twisted against the weak, it is not just a human failure. It is an affront to the one who hears every cry. Exodus 23 also enforces rest even for the land. For 6 years you plant, plow, harvest, press olives, bring in the grapes. But in the 7th year, the land is given a Sabbath. The fields are left, the vines untended, so that the poor and the wild animals may eat freely. This is not just environmental wisdom. It is an act of trust in the provider. You don't have to keep squeezing the earth dry to feel secure. You can rest, because the one who rescued you from Egypt still owns the ground you walk on. God then shifts back to covenant faithfulness as Israel prepares to head into Canaan. He warns, you will not bow down to their gods. You will not serve them. You will not follow their ways. You will not make a covenant with them. They must not live in your land, lest their worship become a snare to you. Why? Because God knows how easily holiness can be diluted. One compromise in worship leads to another compromise in ethics, then another in leadership. And before you know it, the people who said, "All that the Lord has spoken we will do," are bowing to the idols they were supposed to destroy. God promises to send an angel before them to guard them, guide them, and bring them into the land He has prepared. He says, "If you listen carefully to the angel's voice and do all that I say, then I will be an enemy to your enemies and an adversary to your adversaries." Your victory is not based on your strength, but on your obedience. Your peace is not based on your power, but on your alignment with His will. Exodus 23 is the chapter where God shows that holiness and justice are not separate roads. They are one path. If you love God, then you must love truth. If you love truth, then you must defend the weak. If you defend the weak, then you must refuse bribes, refuse lies, refuse shortcuts, and refuse alliances with evil. So if you're living in a world that glorifies dishonesty, that rewards manipulation, that calls compromise wisdom, Exodus 23 is your word. The same God who spoke with thunder on the mountain still speaks here, in courts, in boardrooms, in families, in friendships, and in your own heart. He's not satisfied with a private righteousness. He's calling for a public righteousness, where your speech is clean, your testimony is honest, your rest is disciplined, and your justice walks hand in hand with your holiness. Because in the kingdom of the living God, truth is not optional, and the weak are not expendable. They are the litmus test of how deeply His law has gotten into your life.